This is your ultimate stop for everything sports. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Should I say more? From the NFL, MLB, the NBA to MMA, it's all in here. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Listen now.
And welcome to the GSMC Sports Podcast. This episode is brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. And as always, I am your host, Jesse Tapia. Alright, it's Friday, end of the week. We all love it. It's April 20th. And here's what's going on today. First up, we're going to be talking Sixers Heat for the first segment. Then we had the NFL schedule released yesterday, which was Thursday. So we'll be talking about a couple of games that I'm looking forward to. I mean, I'm not going to be making picks or anything like that. I don't know. I feel like picks before the draft and all that are pretty meaningless. I mean, it's just something to fill up showtime, I guess you could say, for like the ESPNs, NFL networks, and all those people. But nonetheless, I mean, making picks, like, there's no point to it. Absolutely no point to it whatsoever. But nonetheless, we'll be talking about some of the games that caught my eye. All right, see who's playing their former team or whatever. So we'll be doing that. Then we'll be talking about the other two games from yesterday. We had the Warriors facing off with the Spurs, and then the Pelicans facing off with the Trailblazers. All right, both teams are up 3-0 now. Talking about the Pelicans and Warriors, and it's just looking like maybe those series, the Warriors one has been over since game one. Pelican series, they won game 3. Yeah, it's over now, I'm sure. So we'll be talking about that for the third segment. And then for the fourth segment, we'll be talking about anything else going on in the world of sports. All right, so let's get into it. Like I said, Philly versus Miami. Series was tied at 1-1. Philly blew out Miami in game 1. Miami beat Philly in game 2 by like 10, I think it was. And here it was pretty much like the old, whoever wins this game gets control of the series. Obviously, momentum up 2-1 and all that. And like I said, Philly ended up winning this one 128-108. All right, let's see for the box score here. We had Dario Saric with 21 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, shot 7 of 17, 4-7 from the three-point line. Robert Covington had 11 points, 4 assists, shot 3 of 5, 2 of 2 from the three-point line. Joel Embiid came back in this one. He had 23 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, shot 5 of 11 from the field, 3 of 4 from the three-point line. Ben Simmons had 19 points, 7 assists, 12 rebounds, shot 6 of 13. JJ Redick had 10 points, shot 4 of 9, only hit 1 out of his 5 threes. And then off the bench, you had Aaron Ilyasova with 8 points, shot 3 of 5. Markelle Fultz only played 4 minutes in this one, which isn't really surprising, I guess you could say. And then you had Marco Bellinelli with 21 points, 5 assists, 4 rebounds, shot 7 of 13, 4 of 8 from the three-point line. For the Heat, you had James Johnson. He had 12 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, shot 4 of 9, 2 of 3 from the three-point line. Josh Richardson had 14 points, shot 5 of 9, 4 of 7 from the three-point line. Hassan Whiteside only played 13 minutes in this one, had 5 points, 2 rebounds, shot 1 of 1. Goran Dragic had 23 points, 8 assists, shot 8 of 13, 1 of 5 from the three-point line. Then you had Tyler Johnson, who looked like he was playing with a messed up left thumb. It was a right or left thumb. Either way, he had a thumb problem. Had 10 points, shot 4 of 4, 2 of 2 from the three-point line in 17 minutes. Off the bench, you had Kelly Olynyk with 9 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists. Justice Winslow played well in this one, had 19 points, 10 rebounds, shot 4 of 11 from the field, 4 of 6 from the three-point line. And then you had Dwayne Wade coming off of his, 28-point game, had 8 points, 5 assists, 2 rebounds, shot 2 of 10 there. All right, like I said, Philly ended up winning this one 128-108. This game reminded me a lot of game 1, where you had Miami playing well in the first half. It was close, and then after that, second half comes, and Philly pretty much runs away with it. This one was close up until the fourth. All right, once the fourth started, Philly just went on a run and didn't look back at all. Miami just really couldn't stop them, and I mean, that was pretty much just it. Like I said, it's just a matter of Miami ended up getting blown out as soon as the second half started in game 1. They ended up getting blown out as soon as the fourth quarter started in game 3. All right, and with Joel Embiid coming back, I figured that Hassan Whiteside was going to play better just because of the fact that you got Embiid out there, you're going to be guarding him in the post and all that. Obviously, you're going to have your moments where Embiid's on the three-point line. You're going to have to guard him out from there. But it's just a matter of, it didn't make a difference. Hassan Whiteside has not looked good at all in this series. All right, and I think yesterday after Game 3, he was talking to reporters saying that the coach just wants him to set screens and pretty much roll off. And, let me put it this way. Hassan Whiteside is a good center, but there's just no fit for him in this series. Okay? With the way both teams, with the way the Sixers play and the way Miami is being forced to play now, there's just no room for Hassan Whiteside. He doesn't bring anything to the table. Okay? I'm not sure, maybe he overvalues himself a little bit more than we do, but he's not a center like a Joel Embiid where he's got a nice little offensive game. Okay? He's not a great defender as far as the center position. Yeah, if he's in the paint, sure. All right, but if you got to go out to the three-point line, like this team has repeatedly had to, all right, to guard guys like Saric, Embiid, Simmons, all those guys, there's no use for Hassan Whiteside. And I feel he's being a bit of a diva here with the fact how it is Erik Spoelstra knows what he's doing. Okay? That's one thing we all know. Spoelstra has always known what he's doing. He knows what it takes to beat a team. He knows who to put out there in order for matchups to be good in their favor. And it's just Hassan Whiteside just nothing favors them there. All right? Like I said, if Hassan Whiteside had a nice little offensive game, sure, throw him out there. Okay? But the guy's not out there with a post game like Joel Embiid, pretty much grab it near the rim and put it up. Okay? He's a one-dimensional player on offense, and that's fine. All right? But nonetheless, he needs to understand pretty much that it's not about him. Okay, he isn't the best player on that team. Okay, and it's just his skill set doesn't work for this series, and he needs to realize that. I'm curious exactly what more he wants Spoelstra to do with him. All right, you're limited on offense. You're limited as far as a defender. Cool, you can get rebounds. We can get someone else to do that too, along with someone who will bring something else to the table. All right, and it's looking like this is the beginning of the end for Hassan Whiteside in the Heat. And I think the Heat are better off without him. And I think that he's better off without the Heat because of the fact that you're the Heat. You got Bam Adebayo, who you could make your starting center next season. All right? More athletic and a better defender than a guy like Hassan Whiteside. Just needs to develop his offensive game more. Whiteside, you need to go to a team maybe like the Bucks where you are better than a guy like John Henson. All right? But even then, it's not like you're going to be the top guy there. So we'll see what ends up happening with him. But as far as it all goes, I was disappointed in the Heat in this one. I picked them to win Game 3, and they just completely blew it in the fourth. Only scored 14 points in the fourth, I believe it was. Let me see. They scored 14 points in the fourth, and the Sixers put up 32. All right? Obviously, that's not a winning formula there. Okay? With the Heat, I kind of feel like this was the game right here where you saw who the better team was in the series. All right? And it's just with the Heat, yeah, you got Josh Richardson, but you don't really have that true go-to scorer. All right? That's not Goran Dragic. It's not Tyler Johnson. Sometimes it could be Richardson. It's not Dwayne Wade anymore. They don't have that go-to guy, all right? The Heat and Celtics, I feel, are very similar teams in the way where more so you have guys who you wouldn't figure would be playing big minutes and contributing as far as in the playoffs. But even then, so with the Celtics, they got guys like, obviously he's hurt now or whatever. You got guys like Kyrie Irving. All right, you're going to be getting Gordon Hayward next year. Jason Tatum's a guy who can go out and get his own shot, and Jaylen Brown's starting to be that. And it's just with the Heat, who's that one guy that can go out and get their own shot? All right. There is no one. Okay, yeah, you have a bunch of decent shooters and all that, but you need them to be set up. You don't have that guy who could take over. And that's the biggest difference between them and Boston. All right, both got great coaches, both got great bench, both got really good players, solid players. But it's just with the Heat, they don't have that real go-to guy that could take over. All right, and Dwayne Wade, like I said, he used to be that, but he's just too old now. All right, he can give you that 28-point performance in one game, but you can't really expect that game after game after game. All right, he goes from 28 points to 2 of 10 shooting with what? He scored like 6 points, I said it was, or whatever. But either way, as far as the Sixers go, they're just maybe too overpowered for the Heat. All right, the game was close up until the fourth. After that, it's over. All right, Bellinelli's playing well. Ilyasova's been playing well. 2 big players they got off the buyouts too. Ben Simmons is playing well. Joel Embiid just looked like a monster yesterday. Couldn't be stopped. All right, and it's funny too. In the game yesterday, you saw Joel Embiid Mask came off, didn't want it, threw it to the side. Brett Brown, you see, nope, you're not playing unless you put this on. That's a good little move from Brett Brown there, all right? Joel Embiid's not at that level yet where he could say, I'm not playing with this. Kind of like how Kyrie Irving was with the Mask this season. I think they were playing the Warriors, and I'm not sure. I'm assuming because he took it off and threw it away, but I'm assuming that the mask was bothering Kyrie Irving. He takes it off. I mean, you're not going to see Brad Stevens out. You're not going to play unless you have the mask on. I mean, Joel Embiid just isn't at that level yet. But he's getting there. Eventually, where he's going to be able to make his own decisions. But yeah, it was funny seeing Brett Brown say, yeah, you're not playing unless you put this mask on. You had to have Ben Simmons go and give it back to him. But nonetheless, I mean, I don't know. It's funny, too, because Justice Winslow stepped on the mask. And I guess the Sixers got about 50 different masks for Joel Embiid, which is just, I don't know. It's a lot, I feel. But nonetheless, there it is. And then now, too, I guess we got some bad blood between the two teams, all right? I think it was, Game 2, Goran Dragic made a layup with the time winding down. And then yesterday, I think it was Dario Saric who dunked it, or who tried dunking it, but Kelly Olynyk blocked him, I think it was. And, I mean, now you got the Philly after Dragic hit his little layup out in Game 2 at the end, saying they don't like it, it's disrespectful. They were already winning, so why bump up the lead even more? And then here, I mean, you got Dragic who said it wasn't really a problem, he doesn't care. Ben Simmons had the best answer. I mean, he said he would have dunked it. And that's one thing, too. Who cares? I mean, I guess it's an unwritten rule in basketball as far as hitting a shot when the time is winding down and the game's already over and you know you're going to win. But who cares? What does it matter? All right, are players really that soft to the point, oh, it's disrespecting us? Who cares? You play till the game is over. All right, it's not a problem at all. I don't understand why these players are getting frustrated over it, feeling disrespected. All right, if you don't want it to happen, how about you win the game? Okay? How about you do that? And I'm all for running the score up, too. I am all for it. Okay? Call me a bad sport, whatever. You can be saying, oh, that's terrible. No, I'm all for running the score up. It doesn't matter how much they're down by. All right? Philly could have been up by, well, if we're talking Game 2, because I know that's when the problem started, Miami could have been up by 40. All right? Give me Goran Dragic taking a three-pointer instead. A pull-up three with no one around him. All right? I'll take that rather than a layup. And even with Saric in Game 3, you're up, go ahead. Dunk it. Take the three. Who cares? All right? Shouldn't have to stop playing because of the fact that the other team didn't show up. I mean, really? Oh, it's disrespecting your opponent. Who cares? You should feel disrespected because they didn't give you a good performance against you. All right? And I know that's more so the older crowd's not going to like it because they're about sportsmanship and all that. But, I don't know. It's just the way I feel about it. I mean, I'm all for being a good sport. All right? But if you're up big at the end of the game, run up the score. Who cares? Like I said, it's more so disrespectful that Miami didn't show up in Game 3 or Philly didn't make it closer in Game 2 than the guy hitting the layup at the end. This is my opinion, but nonetheless, you can disagree. But we're going to wrap it up here. Next up, we're going to be talking about the NFL schedule, look at some games that caught my eye, pretty much talk about anything else going on in the world of football. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Are you looking for the very best NFL and college football podcast? Then check out the GSMC Football Podcast. Get the latest football news both on and off the field. From the NFL Draft to trades to the rumor mill to the NFL Combines, they got you covered. That's GSMCpodcast.com/football-podcast. Get updates on college rivalries, game day insights, and much, much more. It's football talk the way you want it. This show eats, sleeps, and breathes football. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
All right, and welcome back to your favorite sports podcast. All right, don't quote me on that, but nonetheless, I mean, it's mine, so I guess it should be yours. But either way, first segment, we talked Philly versus Miami. Looks like we got some bad blood going on there. Philly's up 2-1 in that series. Philly has looked like the better team. Miami's going to need to take game 4 or else it's pretty much a wrap. All right, so we'll see if they do, but nonetheless, that's what we talked about. We'll talk about the other 2 games in the 3rd segment. All right, and then for this segment, we're going to be talking about the NFL schedule release. Came out yesterday. Your favorite team is playing, let's see, let me tell you about your favorite team's schedule. I know they're playing their division opponents 6 times. All right, yeah, they're playing them 6 times. You guys are playing a division over in the NFC or AFC, depending on who your team is, 4 times. All right, you're playing that division. And then you got a bunch of other games decided, depending on pretty much who finished where last season and the division standings. All right, so it's pretty much a basis of it. But nonetheless, I get very excited. Well, not excited, but very curious and intrigued to see really what primetime games we're getting this season. And I mean, if we think about it, this past season's primetime games were terrible, okay? Monday Night Football was awful this past season. Absolutely awful. I don't think there was one really, truly great game, all right? And there were some close games, but nonetheless, those close games were just bad football, bad teams out there. It didn't look good at all. I think we had one little stretch where we had Miami playing Monday Night Football. I think 2 out of the 3, or no, they had 3 primetime games back to back to back. And I think they got lost to the Raiders on Sunday Night Football. They lost to some team on Thursday Night Football. And then I think they got blown out by the Panthers on Monday Night Football. I think it was. All right. And it's just, I don't know. All the Monday night games were bad last season. Thursday Night Football is terrible. And that's actually where we're going to start off with first after I get off my little rant. But nonetheless, Thursday Night Football was bad. All right. I mean, I understand you want to have the division games on there. But come on, please. Give us something good rather than... I mean, who was a really bad team last year? I guess. Who was the worst team in the AFC? I guess like the Jets versus the Bills, or maybe like Cleveland versus Cincinnati. Like, let's get some actual good divisional games. Maybe. All right. So, yeah, that was bad. Sunday Night Football was all right, but I feel like none of the primetime games were really great. I don't think we really had one memorable game unless I'm just completely forgetting. So, we'll see, but... Yeah, I mean, as far as getting excited over the NFL schedule, I mean, I do, like I said, just so that way I can see how many primetime games my team has. I know I'm going to be probably going out to a game this season, so seeing which game I want to go out to. So there's that. But other than that, I mean, it's just the NFL doing great at marketing. So let's see. What did they give us for Thursday night this year? All right, we're going to start with that, and then we're going to go to Sunday night, then we'll go to Monday night. So Thursday night, obviously, first game of the season, we got the Falcons versus the Eagles. That's a pretty good game. I like that game right there. All right. We get a rematch of the divisional round from this past season. Hopefully it's a whole lot better than how they played in that game. But nonetheless, I like the Falcons at Eagles. That's going to be a fun one. Then it starts. All right, September 13th, first actual Thursday night game. I mean, not the opening game, but just the game the next week, I should say. We got the Ravens versus the Bengals. Okay, that's not great. Not great at all, man. Ravens, I mean, going to be a team this year. I think they're going to take a step down. I'm not really sure what's going on over with Cincinnati. I mean, they got good players. It's just a matter of whether or not they want to play well for Marvin Lewis, okay? So we got that, boom, right off the bat. Oh, they're really doing us here. We got the Jets at the Browns. Maybe we see Josh Allen or Baker Mayfield versus, actually, it's going to be Josh McCown versus Tyrod Taylor in that one. All right, Josh McCown is going to be the starting quarterback. Or maybe we get Teddy Bridgewater versus Tyrod Taylor. Either way, I mean, it's not going to be the prettiest game. Browns are going to be a fun team to watch, so I guess that'll be what saves it. Then we got the Vikings at the Rams. I like it Thursday night. Okay, good job, NFL. Good job. That's a good game. That's probably the best game out of the first 4 weeks of it. I mean, Falcons-Eagles pretty good, but Vikings and Rams is going to be a fun one. Kirk Cousins versus Jared Goff. All right, that defense versus that new look offense with Brandon Cooks. That's going to be a good game. I like it there. I like it. Then we got Colts at Patriots. We'll never stop getting this game, ever, on prime time. Hopefully it'll be Andrew Luck versus Tom Brady. It should be a decent one, I guess you could say. I'm really curious to see what the Colts do in the draft first. I mean, are they going to finally get some help for Andrew Luck, or are they just going to force him to pretty much do it all on his own? Who knows? Then we got Eagles at Giants. Maybe we get the defending Super Bowl champs versus the Giants and Dez Bryant, hopefully. That should be a pretty decent game. All right. I mean, the Giants, I think, are going to be a whole lot better than what they were last year, so I like that game too. Then we got the Broncos at the Cardinals. That's going to be the lowest. Let me see. That might just be... All right, so as of right now, I'm going to call that the lowest rated Thursday night football game all season long. All right, let's see if we get to any other games. But yeah, definitely Broncos, or what was it? Yeah, Broncos at Cardinals. I mean, Sam Bradford versus Case Keenum. Not really doing too much for me there. Then we got the Miami Dolphins facing off with the Texans. If Deshaun Watson's back by then and Miami's a decent team, that should be a fun one. But, I mean, there's always the possibility of, Miami's always stunk against the Texans, so it just might be Miami. She gets blown out that game. We'll see. Then we got the Raiders at the 49ers. That's going to be a fun one, all right? The Raiders aren't that great of a team right now. The 49ers are on the come-up, but when we got the top two Bay Area teams going against each other, that's always fun. Hopefully everyone stays safe out there. Then we got Panthers at Steelers. That's a bit of a weird one right there, but nonetheless, it should be pretty decent. Let's see, Cam Newton versus Big Ben. We'll see. Then we got the Packers at the Seahawks. That's going to be a fun one. I'll enjoy it. We should all enjoy it, actually. That's probably going to be the best game right there. Packers at Seahawks, or maybe Rams or Vikings at Rams. So let's see. Packers at Seahawks going to be a pretty good one. Falcons at the Saints. Let me see. Which one is it? When is Thanksgiving? Is that the 29th? I think that is going to be the 29th. Yeah, it should be the 29th. Yeah, because that's the Cowboys game. Yeah, so we got Falcons Saints November 22nd. All right. In New Orleans. That should be a fun one to watch, especially since both teams should be good. And then, like I said, on Thanksgiving, we got the Saints at the Cowboys. So that should be a pretty decent game, depending on how well Dak Prescott plays in his third year. Let's see what else we got going on. We got Jags Titans. That could rival Broncos Cardinals as the lowest rated Thursday night game. I don't think it will because of the fact that the Jaguars are going to be very good. And I'm really expecting Marcus Mariota have a real step-up year here, and I figure the Titans are going to be a whole lot better than what they were last year, and they still made the playoffs too. So we got that. Then we got Chargers at Chiefs for our last Thursday night game. This could be a game where it's like maybe Patrick Mahomes is playing pretty well. Chargers need to win this game, and it's like it's close, and then they blow it in the last few minutes like how they always do. So, yeah, those are the games right there, and I'm definitely going Broncos-Cardinals as my lowest-rated Thursday night football game all season long. I'm calling it now. If I get it right, then I'll pick your lottery numbers. So let's see, what do we got going on for Thursday night football? All right, first up, or Sunday night football, I should say. Okay, I think first up we got Packers at Bears, I believe it is. All right, yeah, so it's Bears at Packers, I should say, for the first Sunday night football game. I like it, all right? Mitch Trubisky versus Aaron Rodgers. I think Mitch Trubisky is going to play well this season. I think he is the franchise quarterback for the Bears going forward. And I think the Bears are going to be a pretty good team this season, all right? I think they're going to be competing for a wild card spot, but it's like they're going to be in the hunt, but you know they're not going to be making it. But it's going to be progress. So we got that. Giants at Cowboys, of course. When's the last time we didn't have a Sunday night football game between the Giants at Cowboys? I'm not really looking forward to that too much. Patriots at Lions. That's going to be a fun one right there. I'm going to enjoy that one. Then we got Ravens at Steelers. I would have been more excited for that about 5-7 years ago when Hines Ward was still playing. Cowboys at Texans is a weird game, but nonetheless, it's a game. Chiefs at Patriots. That's too late in the season for the Chiefs to blow them out. So I'm going to go Patriots there, obviously. Then we got Rams at 49ers. Very curious to see how the Rams and 49ers match up with each other this season. All right. 49ers, like I said, probably are the second best team in the NFC West right now. Rams are obviously head and shoulders above everyone else in that division, but I don't know. It's going to be a nice little measuring stick game right there, especially because of the fact that it's in Week 17. Then we got Saints versus Vikings. Saints at Vikings. That's going to be a fun one, a little matchup of the NFC Championship game. We'll see what is his name? PJ Williams, I think it was, something like that. The guy who missed that tackle against Stephon Diggs at the very end of the game, where Stephon Diggs took it to the end zone and won. See what he does there. Packers at Patriots, Rodgers versus Brady, can't beat it. Possible Super Bowl matchup there. Cowboys at Eagles. Eagles are going to blow them out there, especially since it's in Philly. Steelers at Jags, see if they could... Jags took 2 against the Steelers last season, which is ridiculous, but see if the Jaguars could keep it going. Packers at Vikings, Cousins versus Rodgers. 49ers at Seahawks. Would have been a whole lot more excited for that if Richard Sherman and Michael Crabtree were going up against each other. But nonetheless, those guys are long gone. Richard Sherman's playing for the 49ers, which is just weird to me. All right, so we got that going on. Week 14, we got Steelers at Raiders. Very curious to see how the Raiders do this season because of the fact that, Gruden's going to be his first year back. Dude's not been coaching for 10 years. I think John Gruden's severely overrated as a coach, but nonetheless, we'll see what he does with them. Then we got Eagles at Rams, Week 15 on Sunday night. That should be a fun one. Didn't the Rams and Eagles play each other Week 15 this past season too, or is it Week 14? I don't know. Either way, they'll get Wentz versus Goff again. And then Week 16, the NFL could have did better here. They gave us Chiefs at Seahawks. All right, come on. The Chiefs might not even be playing for something there because of the fact that Patrick Mahomes might not be a great quarterback. But nonetheless, that's what the NFL gave us, so that's what we have to make do with. All right. And then we got Monday Night Football, and Monday Night Football was it wasn't great. All right. I think that's the least we could say there. Monday Night Football was not great at all. All right. We had a few games too, maybe caught some eyes, but nonetheless, it just wasn't the best, I guess you could say. Like I said, we had blowouts. We had blowouts, bad close games, just everything there. So let's see what we got going on for Monday night here. All right, so for week 1, the doubleheader, they gave us Jets at Lions for the first game. Yay, very excited. It'll be fun to watch the Lions, and if the Jets got Baker Mayfield out, they're not. That's the thing. They're going to be starting Josh McCown, so I can't even get excited. I feel like the NFL, when they schedule these games, should realize that, you want to schedule the Jets late in the season for primetime games rather than early in the season. We're not going to be seeing the rookie quarterbacks play. But nonetheless, they got the Jets there. And we got Rams at Raiders. That's cool. Doesn't really move the needle for me there. All right. Then when we start going to the single games, we got Seahawks at Bears. I'm really excited to watch the Bears here, so I'm all for every Bears primetime game. Steelers at Bucks. Probably not going to be a decent one there. Chiefs at Broncos. Broncos aren't really a team that excites me this season. Redskins at Saints. I guess. 49ers at Packers. I think that's the best Monday night game since up to where we've gone so far. 49ers at Packers. Jimmy G versus Aaron Rodgers. Should be a fun one. Like I said, Packers could be a Super Bowl team this year. 49ers just trying to make the playoffs, so we'll see what's going on there. Very curious to see what the 49ers do at that wide receiver position too, because you still do need a number 1. Giants at Falcons. It's a weird game. Not really looking forward to it. Patriots at Bills. Maybe we get A.J. McCarron versus Tom Brady, or maybe Josh Rosen versus Tom Brady. That'll be a good game if we got a rookie quarterback there. That'll bring eyeballs to the TV. Then we got Titans at Cowboys. It should be a decent game there. It's a bit of a weird one, but nonetheless, should be a good game. Giants at 49ers. A little rematch of the 2012, 2013, I think it was, NFC Championship game where Kyle Williams dropped the punt and the Giants recovered it, and that's why the 49ers lost. Should be a bit of a fun one there. Then we got Chiefs at Rams. Maybe Mahomes versus Goff there. Titans versus Texans. Give me Mariota versus Deshaun Watson every day of the week. All right, I'm really high on Marcus Mariota this season. Might just win Most Improved Player. If that's possible. He did have a bad year, so if he has an even better year compared to last year, I think he should win Most Improved. So, really looking forward to that. Redskins at Eagles. I got Redskins already once on Monday night. Don't need them twice, but nonetheless, ESPN gave it to us. Then we got Vikings at Seahawks. When is the last time those two teams played? Last year, maybe? Last good memory I have of a Vikings-Seahawks game was when Blair Walsh missed that field goal. So we got that. Saints at Panthers. That's cool. Might be for the division there. And then Broncos at Raiders. Of course, ESPN gives the last Monday night game to John Gruden. Of course. All right, so the primetime schedule for Sunday night looks pretty good. Thursday night, we found some. Monday night doesn't really excite me too much, so we'll see. I'm not sure really how your team's going to do this season. I'm not sure how my team's going to do. Remember, your little prediction for how well your team's going to do is wrong. All right, your team's not going 11-5. They're not. If you're a fan of a bad team, I know you're optimistic, but chances are your team's just going to go 2-15, 2-14, 3-13. Who knows? All right. So those are the primetime games. Again, we got a couple of good ones, but definitely Broncos at Cardinals on Thursday night, by far going to be the lowest rated game of the season. I'm putting money on that. All right. But nonetheless, we're going to wrap it up here. Next up, we're going to be heading back over to the NBA. We had 2 more games going on yesterday, so we're going to be talking about those. And then for the 4th segment, going to be talking about anything else going on in the world of sports. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Check out the show that's built on the MMA. From the UFC to extreme cage fighting, they got the fights covered. Check out the GSMC MMA podcast. Get the latest news on past or upcoming fights. Join us as we talk to and about some of the biggest names in the MMA, past, present, and future. When it's the fight game, there's just one show to check out. GSMCpodcast.com/MMA-podcast. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
All right, and welcome back to the GSMC Sports Podcast. We spent that second segment going over the primetime games that were released for the NFL schedule. All right, remember, whatever record you have your team going, that's wrong, okay? So there's that. Segment 1, we talked Philly versus Miami, obviously, because that was the biggest game of yesterday. And then for this segment, we're going to be talking about the other two games from yesterday, which was Thursday. We got Portland, who faced off with New Orleans in New Orleans, and then Golden State versus San Antonio in San Antonio. So let's get into it, all right? Let's start off with the Portland game, man. I mean, Portland all season long was playing well. Remember me talking about how they're always that team where it doesn't matter. Like, you expect them to do a whole lot better than what they usually do, but nonetheless, I mean, they just continue to fail. Yeah, it turns out they saved that for the playoffs, okay? Because the team we saw in the regular season with Portland is completely different from this playoff Portland team, all right? But nonetheless, let's give the stats, then we'll get into it. All right, so the Pelicans won this one 119-102. Like, not close at all here, at all. All right, Al-Farouq Aminu had 21 points, 8 rebounds. Let's see, shot 8 of 15 from the field, 3 of 8 from the three-point line. Mo Harkless got the start in this one, had 5 points, 4 assists, shot 2 of 8 from the field, 1 of 5 from the three-point line. Obviously not great there. Joseph Nurkic, 5 points, 7 rebounds, 2 of 7 shooting. Terrible. Damian Lillard, you have absolutely been killing me all series long, all right? What are we doing here? Just exactly what? All right, 20 points, had the worst plus-minus out of everyone. Yeah, so he had 20 points, minus 24 as far as plus-minus, 8 turnovers, 2 assists, 3 rebounds, shot 5 of 14, 3 of 9 from the three-point line, 7 of 8 from the free-throw line, all right? Not great. Not great, especially considering that is supposed to be the best player on your team, all right? Not great at all, Bob. CJ McCollum had 22 points, 4 turnovers, 3 assists, shot 9 of 16, 2 of 5 from the three-point line. So at least CJ McCollum showed up. I mean, shot better than 50% from the field, was efficient. Not really much you can ask for from CJ there. He pretty much did his job. Off the bench, you had Zach Collins with 6 points, 4 rebounds, shot 2 of 5. Miles Leonard had 8 points, 4 rebounds, shot 4 of 4. Was actually a plus 11 along with Wayne Baldwin, who had a 1 point, 1 rebound, 2 assists, shot 0 of 1 from the field, hit 1 free throw out of his 2. Shabazz Napier, was a plus 4 there, 5 points, 2 assists, 2 steals, shot 2 of 4. All right, Portland shot 46% from the field, 29% from 3. Not great there at all. For the Pelicans, you had Nikolai Mirotic with 30 points. Dude has been a beast since the Pelicans traded for him. All right, and has been a beast in the playoffs. At 30 points, 8 rebounds. Let's see. Shot 12 of 15 from the field, 4 of 6 from the three-point line. Just couldn't be stopped. Anthony Davis had 28 points, 2 blocks, 11 rebounds. Shot 11 of 18 from the field. Not every day where you get someone else other than Anthony Davis for the Pelicans as your leading scorer. But nonetheless, Mirotic, I guess you could say he outplayed Davis. I don't think we could really say that he outplayed Anthony Davis yesterday. But nonetheless, there's that. Etwan Moore didn't really do too much, only played 22 minutes, had 4 points, 4 rebounds, shot 2 of 4 from the field. Rajon Rondo, playoff Rondo, had 16 points, 2 steals, 11 assists, 5 rebounds, shot 7 of 12, 1 of 2 from the three-point line. Drew Holiday had 16 points, 3 steals, 7 assists, 3 rebounds, shot 7 of 14, 2 of 3 from the three-point line. Then off the bench, all right, you had Miller with 8 points there. Solomon Hill brought in 4 points. Ian Clark, 7 points, 2 assists, 2 steals, shot 3 of 7 there. Emeka Okafor, he only played 4 minutes. But nonetheless, Pelicans won this one 119-102. All right, and it's just, congrats, Portland. You made the playoffs, but nothing's really changed. All right, you're still the same team you've been the last few years. Yay, we made the playoffs. Oh, there we go. Bounced out in the first round. Damian Lillard, does anyone know where he's at right now? Does he know that this is the playoffs? All right, in Portland, the last 5 or so games for the regular season look bad too. Maybe this is something we should have saw coming. All right, and it's just pretty disappointing to see. And I don't want to really spend too much as far as talking about Portland because we got to be talking about how the Pelicans have played so well. But it's just like, come on, Damian Lillard, what are you doing here? All right, what's going on? And Portland and Washington are basically the same team, all right, except John Wall showing up for his squad. But with Portland, let's look at it this way. Yes, you got CJ McCollum, you got Damian Lillard, all right? great two players to build that team around. But what's missing here? All right, I feel like Al-Farouq Amino, Mo Harkless, those are pretty solid role players there. All right, Evan Turner's not the greatest, but nonetheless, he does a job. Joseph Nurkic, I think, is a pretty good center. Not top 10 or top 5 by any means. He might be top 10. I don't know. There's not a lot of good centers out there. But nonetheless, I mean, does a job well. Off the bench, I figure guys like Shabazz Napier will play well. Like, what's Portland missing? All right? Are they just at the point where they've done everything they could and maybe it's just time to blow it up? Because, I mean, they haven't really progressed. All right? They've been the same team to make playoffs and get bounced, whether it's the first round or the second round. Okay? And, I mean, it's just, what can you do? All right? What can you do? So it's just with the Trailblazers, I mean, if Damian Lillard's going to need the performance of his life in order to get this team back into it, I don't think it's really going to happen. But nonetheless, we can try, I guess. So we'll see what ends up going on with Portland. But if anything, it's looking like, yeah, we had a nice little run. But nonetheless, we're gone. And as far as the Pelicans go, I mean, are we gonna when are we gonna talk about them if they sweep Portland, given the way they've played? When are we gonna talk about them having a chance against Golden State? Is that a conversation we're gonna have? All right, is it? I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying we have to have the conversation, but I'm sure someone's gonna ask it. And I'm not saying they're gonna be Golden State by any means. I'm not that crazy, but someone is gonna bring it up, and ESPN will be talking about it. So will Fox Sports. All right. So will NBA TV. Someone, or TNT also. Someone is going to be talking about it. All right. The Pelicans look good. Look great right now. Rondo is doing his playoff Rondo thing. Anthony Davis, I mean, realizes, yeah, I'm the best player on this team, so I should play like it. Nikolai Mirotic is playing like a man who just shaved his beard, which he did. All right. The guy is not missing at all. Playing extremely well. Could argue is the second best player so far in the playoffs for New Orleans, unless you want to give that to you have Mirotic who's played well, Rondo's played well, and Drew Holiday who's played well. Okay, Drew Holiday is a top 10 player at whatever position you want to put him at. Okay, he is. The dude has been lights out. All right, and we got to talk about Alvin Gentry too. He's not really getting too much excitement surrounding his name as far as what the Pelicans have done. But let's put it this way, okay? You're playing well in the beginning of the season, halfway through. Boogie tears his Achilles. That could just kill a team right there. I wrote him off. Everyone wrote him off, okay? The only way you figured that the Pelicans would still be a good team if you were a Pelicans fan. And even then, so you're just being a biased fan there. All right? I mean, of course, yeah, you were right. But even then, so, I mean, you and your right set of mind did not think you were right, given that you were still saying, oh yeah, we still have a chance. Like, no, you didn't believe that. So I'm not going to take that at all. But nonetheless, I mean, Gentry's got this team playing well. I mean, you trade for a guy like Nikolai Mirotic after Boogie tears his Achilles. And to me, it just seemed like, yeah, we're going to try and win, but that's it. This is just showing us, yeah, we're still trying or whatever. You integrate him into the squad playing well. All right. And then you got yourself, I mean, pretty much coaching this team up. I mean, who would have thought that Emeka Okafor would have played big minutes this regular season? Not even big minutes, at least starter minutes. All right, who would have thought Etuan Moore would have the season he's had? Okay, Ian Clark, solid player off the bench. Pelicans, very good team. Okay. But are they going to beat the Warriors in the next round? I don't know. I say no. But like I said, be ready for the conversation because we are going to have it eventually. All right, so there's that. But nonetheless, that's all I got to say about that game. Let's talk Warriors, Spurs. All right. There's not much to say here. But nonetheless, let's get through it. All right. So the Warriors knocked off the Spurs 110-97. Spurs did that thing where they were down, 6 points at the end of the first half. Looked good. Second half comes, they were down, 12? All right. And that was it. Congrats, Spurs. I mean, you tried. You lost 110-97. For the Warriors, you had Draymond Green with 10 points, 7 assists, 6 rebounds, shot 4 of 9 from the field, 2 of 5 from the three-point line. Andre Iguodala had 10 points, 4 assists, 4 rebounds, shot 4 of 9. Kevin Durant had 26 points, 6 assists, 9 rebounds, shot 9 of 17, 1 of 6 from the three-point line. Ended up hurting his ankle, but he said he's fine. He's not going to miss any time there. JaVale McGee, everyone's favorite starting center, had 6 points, 4 rebounds, shot 3 of 3. JaVale McGee is a perfect type of player. All right, Warriors need him to do a certain job for 15 minutes. He did that job. Klay Thompson, 19 points, 2 assists, 3 rebounds, shot 8 of 16 from the field, 3 of 6 from the three-point line. Shot 50% from the field and from 3. Not more you can ask for there. Dude's been lights out so far in the first round. Off the bench, anyone do anything here? Kevin Looney had 4 points, was a plus 17 when he was out there. So, I mean, they played well when he was out there on the court. Quinn Cook had 12 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, shot 5 of 9, 2 of 5 from the three-point line. Sean Livingston had 16 points, 3 rebounds, shot 4 of 9 from the field there. Nick Young got 1 shot in, played 3 minutes, was a 3, hit it. Let's see, yeah, 3 points, was a -5 when he was out there. Must have been garbage time or something. Zaza Pachulia did not get any minutes in this one. That's what I like to see. All right. Warriors shot 51% from the field, 31% from 3. I mean, not great, but nonetheless, there it is. And they're a great free throw shooting team, too. 88% from the, nearly 89, all right, 88.9, so I'm going to call it 89%, 16 of 18 from the free throw line. For the Spurs, let's see, anyone else do anything here? LaMarcus Aldridge had 18 points, 10 rebounds, had 4 assists, shot 6 of 10 from the field. Rudy Gay, 11 points, shot 4 of 11. Patty Mills, 6 of 13 from the field, 2 of 7 from the three-point line, 14 points there. Dejounte Murray had 9 points, 4 assists, only 2 rebounds. Off the bench, you had Tony Parker showed up. 16 points, 2 assists, shot 6 of 12. Manu played 17 minutes, was 0 of 5 from the field. Goose egg here, no points, 2 rebounds. And pretty much no one else did anything here. It's just a matter of, I mean, if you're the Spurs, you're getting ready to go on vacation. You're getting ready for the season to end. You're getting ready to start training for next season if you're crazy like that. Now it's just a matter of, hey, Kawhi, what's up? What do you want to do next season? You going to come play for us or you want us to trade you? So, I mean, good on the Warriors. Like I said, I mean, Warriors-Pelicans, it's going to be a fun series. We're going to enjoy it. And I'm curious because, like, obviously if the Pelicans advanced, they'd end up being the lower-seeded team compared to the Jazz and Thunder. So would it be the Pelicans playing the Rockets or is it just not work that way? I'm just curious, but nonetheless, if we get Pelicans-Rockets, I mean, that'd be a fun series too. That one, I could see the Pelicans making some noise, all right? I still think that the Rockets would win, but I do think the Pelicans could get a game or two against the Rockets. Against the Warriors, I mean, the Pelicans probably get 1, maybe. So we'll see about it, but we're going to wrap it up here. Next up, we're going to be talking about anything else going on in the world of sports. All right, so stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Are you looking for help for your fantasy football team? Check out the GSMC Fantasy Football Podcast. Get today's best advice on who to start, who to sit, even who you should draft. From sleeper picks to red-hot lineups, they got it all covered for you. That's gsmcpodcast.com/fantasy-football-podcast. We'll cover traditional leagues, dynasty, PPR, even IDP leagues. When you need fantasy help, there's just one show to hit up. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit gsmcpodcast.com for more info.
All right, and welcome back to the GSMC Sports Podcast. All right, let me tell you what we talked about so far, even though you've already been listening. All right, so let's see. First segment, we talked Philly versus Miami. Philly's currently up 2-1 in that series. Not looking good for the Heat. I don't know. I can't say that yet. The Heat still have a chance. I mean, they win Game 4, and it's all back to where we started. But nonetheless, I mean, I don't know. We'll see. Philly's looking mighty good right now. Second segment, we talked about the primetime games that were released from the NFL schedule. I mean, Monday Night Football didn't really move the needle for me. Thursday night, we got Vikings-Rams. I think it's the best one. And I think, which one's the one? Did we have 49ers-Packers on Monday night, or is that Sunday night? All right, Sunday night games are actually pretty decent. But nonetheless, I mean, of course, like I said, the lowest rated game for all the primetime ones is definitely going to be Broncos at Cardinals. I mean, what was it? What was the NFL thinking there? Come on. Like, what were we doing? But nonetheless, there's that. Third segment, we talked about the Pelicans pretty much beating up on the Portland Trailblazers. We spent pretty much most of the segment, the majority of the segment, talking about that. I mean, we could have talked about the fact that Golden State was knocking the snot out of the Spurs, but I mean, that's not really news there. I mean, if you're a Spurs fan, maybe you're a bit surprised, but I don't know how you could be. So there's that. And here we are. We've come full circle. We're now at the fourth segment. So let's see what else is going on here. Let's head over to the NHL. All right, we've been doing pretty well in the NHL the last couple of days, I feel, with the Stanley Cup Playoffs. But nonetheless, we only had 2 games going on yesterday. Bruins versus the Maple Leafs and the Capitals versus the Blue Jackets. All right, Bruins ended up knocking off the Maple Leafs 3-1. Bruins are now up 3-1 in that series. It's not looking good for the Maple Leafs here. All right, you had Brad Marchand scoring yesterday. It was his second goal of the playoffs so far. And with the Bruins, I mean, Toronto, you put up a nice little fight, but I think Boston's going to get through here. And it's been a real good year for Boston sports, all right? Patriots made it to the Super Bowl. Celtics are playing well with everyone injured. Let's see. Who else plays in Boston? The Bruins. Red Sox are pretty much out to one of the hottest starts in the history of baseball. It's just ridiculous what the Red Sox are doing, too. I mean, it's just a matter of, like, it doesn't matter how well you've been playing. You're not going to score runs against them, but they're going to score all the runs they want against you. So, yeah, pretty good to be a Boston sports fan right now. But yeah, like I said, Bruins won that one 3-1. They're up 3-1 in the series. And, I mean, going back to Game 5, I think that one's going to be back in Boston, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see. Would they be playing Saturday? They would be, yeah. So Game 5's in Boston. Congrats, Toronto. I mean, you made the playoffs. And then we had the Capitals facing off with the Blue Jackets, all right? Blue Jackets were up 2-1, or up 2-0 at one point in the series. Capitals win Game 3 in overtime. Seeing how they do here, I mean, you got TJ Oshie, Kuznetsov scoring, Ovechkin scoring, and they won 4-1. All right. I think this is it. I think the Capitals are going to be winning the series now. Columbus, you tried your hardest, but it's just a matter of the Capitals are just going to end up being better. All right. I'm very much looking forward to the Penguins Capitals second round matchup. That's what's been keeping Ovechkin out of the Stanley Cup Finals. Sidney Crosby. All right. So we'll see if they're going to be able to do it. I mean, tomorrow we got the Flyers versus the Penguins. We got Winnipeg versus the Wild. And then we got Nashville versus Colorado. We very well could see all of those series getting clinched tomorrow. I mean, Nashville's going to be playing at home. They're already up 3-1, or 3-1. Penguins are at home up 3-1. And then Winnipeg is at home up 3-1. So it's not looking good for the road teams, especially the Wild and Flyers. I mean, the Avalanche maybe could surprise someone. I mean, they've showed some fight in their series, but nonetheless, it's not looking good there. Actually, those games are going on tonight, I should say. Those games are going on tonight. Yeah. So those are the games going on tonight. And then tomorrow we got, which is Saturday, we got Tampa Bay versus New Jersey. Tampa Bay's up 3-1 in that series. Capitals versus Blue Jackets. They're tied 2-2. That one's going to be in Washington. And then we got the Bruins versus the Maple Leafs in Boston. And they're up 3-1. So we'll see what ends up going on there. Like I said, I'm sure if I had to make my picks tonight, it'd be all the home teams closing out the series. And then for Saturday's games, I'd have to go Tampa Bay, Washington, Boston. All right. So we'll see how it all ends up going down. But nonetheless, that's your update on the Stanley Cup playoffs. Let's see what else is going on in the world of sports. All right. Arsene Wenger was Arsenal's manager for 22 seasons. Finally came out to say it today and said he's resigning after the season. And end of an era, no, definitely. All right. No doubt. No doubt. All right, but nonetheless, I mean, I wasn't really sure if he was going to end up resigning. I mean, I'm sure he's probably going to end up with some other team as far as coaching. I'm sure PSG is going to need a coach, but nonetheless, I mean, the last few years of Arsene Wenger's Arsenal managerial career obviously could have ended better. All right, I mean, it could end pretty sweet with them possibly winning the Europa League if they do get past Atletico Madrid. And I think the players owe it to Wenger at least to go out and play in the final. All right. Arsene Wenger, like they said, the last few seasons just really hasn't been great, but nonetheless, I mean, he is the best coach in that team's history. All right, managed the Invincibles team in 2003, won the league title. I think I saw like 4 or 7 times, I think, or something like that. Or I think he won the FA. I don't know. He won 1 cup 7 times, I think, or something like that. Or just 7 cups or something like that. But nonetheless, like I said, I'm very curious to see who ends up coaching Arsenal next season. All right. I think Carlo Ancelotti came out and said that he'd be interested in it. Arsenal could get Ancelotti. I mean, that'd be ridiculous. All right. Maybe you could see Arsenal going back to being a top Premier League team. I mean, now it's more so they finished top 6. That's cool. All right, but other than that, I mean, nothing really going on there. So I'm very curious to see what ends up happening with Arsenal's managerial situation next season. Who are they going to bring in? Who knows? All right, going to be a very good surprise. Let's see, there's that. Anything else going on in the world of sports right now? I mean, we got playoffs going on tonight. Cleveland, Indiana, Toronto, Washington, Boston, Milwaukee. Very curious to see how Cleveland and Indiana goes along with Toronto and Washington. I think Boston's going to end up taking the 3-game series lead in their series against Milwaukee. Let's see what else we got going on. Texans optimistic on a new deal for Jadeveon Clowney. I feel like you got to lock him up. Dude was a beast this past season. Let's see what else is going on before we head over to the NBA and make my picks. Anything else? What's going on in baseball right now? Baseball is really tough to get into right now because it's just so early, so you're not really sure who's good, who's bad. I mean, the Yankees are 9-8. Like I said, Red Sox are 15-2, I think it is. Dodgers haven't looked good. Giants haven't looked good. And the Giants, I mean, we should have all seen that coming as far as their start. I mean, they got the 2013, 2012 All-Star team on their squad. All right, let's see. Actually, let's head over to MLB. Let's see what's going on there. All right, what games we got going on tonight? We got the Royals and Tigers who finished their game up already. Tigers ended up winning that one 3-2. Royals don't look good at all. They've only won 3 games so far out of their first 17. We got the Indians versus the Orioles. Not really a great game there. Toronto versus New York, as in the Yankees. I mean, that should be a fun one there. Toronto's currently 12-6. I'm sure they surprised a couple of people with their start out the gate. Sonny Gray's pitching. Sonny Gray hasn't really good so far for the Yankees. Pirates at Phillies. I'm sure Pirates fans might be a little surprised with their start. I mean, they traded away a lot of their top players. Twins at the Devil Rays. Tampa Bay's favored in this one. I have no clue why. I mean, they're 5-13. Twins are 8-5. Tampa Bay just hasn't looked good at all, but nonetheless, we'll see. We got the Royals at Tigers. Doubleheader. We got Mets at Braves. Mets surprising a lot of people with the way they've started. All right, 13-5. Braves are 11-7. Also surprised there. So it's going to be a good game, actually. I might have to check that one out. Syndergaard versus Sean Newcomb. All right, we'll see what's going on there. Mariners at the Rangers. Felix Hernandez looking like he's starting to go down in his career. Astros versus White Sox. Verlander versus James Shields. Marlins versus the Brewers. It's basically AAA versus the Brewers. Reds versus the Cardinals there. Reds have been a bad team for so long. Cubs at the Rockies. That's going to be a good one. Padres Diamondbacks. Red Sox versus the A's. All right. That should be a nice little decent one. I mean, actually, I don't know. Red Sox should end up winning that one. Kendall Graveman pitching for the A's. Today's 0-3 so far in his 3 starts. 9.87 ERA. Yikes. We got the Giants at the Angels. That's always a fun one to watch there. And then the Nationals at the Dodgers. 2 teams who are great during the regular season, but simply just can't get it done in the postseason there. All right, so those are the games going on tonight. Let's see. Let's talk NBA for the games going on tonight there. All right, like I said, we got Cavs versus Pacers. We got Celtics, Bucks, Raptors, Wizards. Let's just make the picks here, all right? I'm going to go, do I go with the Cavs or do I go with the Pacers for Game 3? I mean, I got to go. This is a tough series to pick here. I'm going to go with do I want to go with the best team or do I want to go with the team with the best player? I got to go Pacers in this one. I mean, LeBron puts up, 47, 44 points, Game 2, and they barely win by 3. I don't think LeBron's putting up that many points today, so I got to go with the Pacers. Raptors, Wizards, I'm going with Washington in this one. They got to get the win here, and I'm sure they're going to, especially playing at home. As far as Game 4 goes, I mean, that's too soon to talk about, but I do got the Wizards winning tonight, and then we got the Celtics facing off with the Bucks. I mean, the Bucks just haven't looked good at all. I got to go with the Celtics in this one, even though Milwaukee's at home. So only one upset pick tonight, and that is actually, no upset picks. Washington's actually favored against Toronto. Or actually, the Celtics. How were the Bucks favored by 4.5 over the Celtics when the Celtics have pretty much wiped the floor with them? Washington hasn't looked good against Toronto at all, and they're favored in this one. That makes no sense to me. I mean, I'm cool with Indiana being favored by 1 against Cleveland at home. That's fine. But, I don't know, it just doesn't make sense. So, yeah, Celtics are my only upset pick tonight. So, let's get to wrap it up for today. Today we talked Philly versus Miami, Game 3. Talked about this season's NFL primetime games. Talked about the Pelicans pretty much beating down on the Trailblazers along with the Warriors beating down the Spurs. And then for this segment, like I said, Arsene Wenger going to be leaving Arsenal at the end of the season. We had some updates on the Stanley Cup Playoffs. and then we made my picks for tonight's game. So thanks for listening to the GSMC Sports Podcast. As always, I am your host, Jesse Tapia. We'll be back next week, so stay tuned, and we'll talk to you later.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.